MotoGP are going to be in the hands of the two young men we're going to introduce you to now, and perhaps find a little bit out about them, about what makes them tick, and about how they ever got into this scary business in the first place. Will you please welcome from just outside Barcelona, Mr. Dani Pedrosa, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Now, I'm going to ask Dani to climb onto a seat here. It'll probably make him, there we are, it takes him up to a better height for us to talk to. And I'd like to introduce Dani's teammate. Please will you welcome Andrea Dovizioso, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Andrea. Please, take a seat, take a microphone. Now, I'd like to start really to find out a little bit about the background to these guys, because who knows, any one of us could perhaps have become a motorcycle racer if we got the opportunity, or even had the inclination to be. And I think possibly the family, because family backing is obviously essential when you're a kid and you first get interested in motorcycle sport. I know, for example, that Dani was born in a place called Sabadell, just outside Barcelona, which for 20 years had hosted the Spanish 250cc motocross Grand Prix. It was a huge event every year there. 50,000 people would flock in. And Dani was actually born, curiously, the year that Sabadell ceased to be a 250cc Grand Prix circuit. But Dani, your dad, has actually ridden around there, and presumably therefore he had an interest in motorcycle sport as a young man that was obviously handed down to you.
Yeah, when I was a kid, he used to explain me the story of that track. It was very famous there, and many people went there to watch the races, and he had the chance to do some laps once, and he always remembered me that it was a very, very deep and long uphill, and he was flat out with the 6th or 5th gear full, and then when he rised up to the top, he was in first gear, just like couldn't get. But yes, it was. Unfortunately, I couldn't see it, but I'm happy.
You say that he took a 125cc motorcycle out around that famous track, so he was obviously a motorcyclist.
When I was just a kid, I always tried to be on his bike and try to play with the throttle and have some fun. But as soon as I understood I really like it, I always push him to get a small mini cross or something like that.
Well, you went quite early onto tarmac, onto road racing, rather than, or did you mess about a bit off-road like a lot of kids do?
I started off-road for a while, and then I moved when I was 8 years old. Then I moved to mini bikes. So yeah, I started the road.
Now, Andrea, in complete contrast, this guy is a very, very competent motocross racer. Motocross, of course, is the off-road version of the sport that Honda's been winning world championships in for the past 30 years. And Andrea has raced, he's the similar age to the current world motocross champion, Tony Cairoli, and he knows these guys, he raced against them. Presumably, do you have schoolboy racing? Is that, what do you call it in Italy?
Yeah, I raced with Cairoli and all the Italian rider in the World Championship, because we have all the same age. So in the mini cross we raced together, and after I decided to continue with the pocket bike to the street bike, but I started with that big rider.
So at what age did the crossover happen for you? You were obviously a very accomplished motocross rider as a boy, and then at some point, what sparked the interest in road racing?
I started with off-road, but when I was 6 years old, I started with pocket bike. So first I made a race with pocket bike, and when I didn't have a race with pocket bike, I went with the off-road. So when I had 14 years old, I decided to continue with the street bike. When I have the possibility to go with the big wheels, I start with 125 street bike.
But you've remained a very accomplished motocrosser, so you obviously still like. In fact, Andrea actually won a charity race that was held at Cavallaro last November that featured all the top road racers, and he beat everybody, including a guy called Marco Melandri, who's a pretty good motocrosser. So you obviously still practice on a motocross bike.
Yeah, a lot. I love this world, so I training with off-road, with motocross, but it's a little bit dangerous, and the team manager of HRC is not so happy about that. But I love to training with motocross, but especially is the world. It's much more relaxed. So yes. I like to train during the week.
Now, Dani, in contrast, you've ended up being a pretty hot cyclist, and have also got yourself into climbing mountains and things. What's all this about? Is this part of keeping fit, or is this just fun?
Well, really it comes all from my dad, because when I was a kid he had a motocross bike, so he used to go with his friends on Sunday, but he used to race also with a bicycle.
Yes.
So I had a bit of the two things when I was a kid, so I really love to cycle and to do some races. And yes, when I started, I had a big moment that I couldn't anymore spend more money to keep going for the road motorcycle sport, and I thought, okay, maybe I have to switch and start with the bicycle. But I was lucky at that time and find out some people that helped me to keep going for the bikes.
And it's worked out pretty well for you in the end. And what about the climbing?
Climbing, I'm pretty good at climbing because I'm skinny, so